What's going on, YouTube and cryptocurrency family? My name is Harry, and I'm the Crypto Vet. Thank you for tuning back in. We have another Twitter Crypto Answers space, whatever it is. It's Crypto Answers with Kelly Kellam, one of my cool homies. And we also have some awesome guests this time. We've got a good close friend, singer-songwriter Tyler Prescott, known as Jet on Twitter. We have Deezy, we've got Jchains, we have TomCrown Crypto, and more. So be sure to check it out. But we'll go ahead and let this get started, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
I don't have an ID that legally shows me as being Kelly Kellam, although I've been called Kelly Kellam since the day I was born. I don't have any documentation proving I am who I say I am, but
I actually have no idea. I think I'm close to verification, but no clue. We'll find out in like 5 days or something.
For those of you just piling in, we're going to be getting started here in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're just waiting for some of the invite blast outs that we just did to land, and we'll be getting started here in a second. And we are recording these now, and Mr. Crypto Vet and his wonderful army of collaborative friends, they do collaborative army, art army. They're doing a great job of, he's recording on his end, doing some screen sharing with the different stuff on charts as we mentioned it, and bring different things up. So it'll be a part of a recorded audio video sort of combination that we're releasing on his YouTube channel, usually the following day after, if not that evening, within 24 hours or so of when we have these posted. But it looks like we got some people piling in. We're going to wait another minute or so, and we'll be getting started in here in just a second. Just so anybody that's on here knows, we will have, I think we're going to be doing this one a little bit more interactive with a lot of anybody that has a question or a comment or something they're seeing, or they want to understand better. Go ahead and feel free at any point during the conversation. On the bottom left, there's a selection where you can request to speak. I may not get to you immediately. We may be letting a certain thought or thread finish up. But when we get to this section where we're asking people or we're bringing people up on stage, then we'll already have you queued up, and then we'll bring you on. And we're going to be going this Twitter Spaces. We're going to be going for about probably 75 to 90 minutes max. Crypto Vet and I both have other engagements that we have to bounce off to pretty quickly in about an hour and a half. So go ahead and you can request on the bottom left at any point, and don't be disheartened if I don't bring you up right away. We'll just be finishing a thought, and then we'll bring you up when we get to that section. But it looks like we're right there on time, so let me know when you want to start recording there, Mr. Vet, and we'll get it going.
I believe he started recording 5 minutes ago. That way I have stuff to edit from, and then my recording on my camera and stuff is already going. So if you're recording, you can send me your camera feed of you talking, and I'll splice it in random places.
Awesome. We'll do so. We're going to get started in about 20 seconds. I just have to pull up that.
We should ask Jet about getting us some music for the intro there so people can hear, like, it's starting soon. Because I think a lot of people come by and it's just quiet, and they're like, what the fuck is this shit? Why is it so damn quiet? Nobody's talking.
Intro music pops, man.
I said we need something. It's kind of like the Dash League music. You just kind of hear it in the background while you're just waiting. Something with that vibe and ambiance.
No. I'm just getting the last thing set up on my end. Here.
Oh, gravy. Let's go.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for showing up. This is Crypto Answered. We're doing a bonus stream this week. We did one yesterday as well. We want to make sure we kind of change up the times here and there so we can, and days also when we can, so we can make sure that we get this out to as many people as possible. That being said, my name's Kelly Kellam. We have Crypto Vet here as well as my co-host and my compadre in arms. And we're going to be going over, we're going to do this one a little less framework today in terms of how and what we're going to go over in terms of a time code, if you will. We're going to leave this one a little more open, but there's plenty to talk about with what's going on with the market right now. There's plenty to talk about with Everything from the CPI data coming out, the death cross coming. Is that really something that's affecting what's going on? Also, what are some targets that we both see? We might also have a difference of opinion about what some of those targets are, and that's okay. Not everybody's supposed to agree on everything all the time. That's why it's great to have these discussions, because I might see something very clearly where he sees something that completely contends with that. So, and you all as well. It's very good to have open discussions about these sorts of things, so we can all make sure that we have our eyes open beyond what our limited myopic viewpoint can be, and that's the best way we can learn. So that being said, welcome. Thank you everybody for joining here on Crypto Answered. And Crypto Vet, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I had the crew this morning getting all set up. I got Jet here. I got Dash League and a bunch of other invites sent out. So who knows who might come in. I was just joking with Jet earlier that, funnily enough, we have like amongst some of our other Twitter accounts like John Cena, Paris Hilton following him. So who knows who might actually get the message and come by. So it's been a good day. Hopefully the markets pick up a little bit. There's a little bit of red today after we had hopefully what's going to be a little bounce or relief rally, but we're kind of in the limbo stage.
Yeah, everybody knows. I was actually a little bit confused at first, not confused, but surprised to see that sudden. It wasn't huge, but the sudden drop that we had when we were north of 44,000. I think we were up at like 44.3 or something like that, and we dropped down fairly rapidly down to in the 42s. And one of the things that came out today, and this is why this is a good reason to remember. It's very good to remind yourself that not every sort of dollar price action necessarily matters, and it shouldn't scare you. My father, for instance, earlier he sent me a meme because he said, "Just so you know, I control the market," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He happened to finally make a purchase. He was belaboring himself over for like 45 minutes, finally made the purchase, and literally within about 10 seconds is when Bitcoin corrected from that 44.2 level. And all of us, I only bring that up because all of us, I felt that way in the past where before I really had a better grasp on technical analysis and on-chain metrics and just general getting a general temperature check or sentiment check of what's going on with the markets. Sometimes I felt like I would be honestly doing the best I could to make the best purchases. And early on, every time I purchased, the price went the opposite direction. So I had to basically reformat what I was looking at, how, what, where, when, and why, and realize that there's a lot more to the market than just seeing buy signals. And if you're always buying and it's going the opposite direction, then you might be looking at the wrong signals. But in today's case, one of the reasons it dropped at that moment was because I think in the U.S. the unemployment data came out, and the number of unemployment was a little bit above where the expected forecast was going to be. Now, the reason I mention that is because it's at the end of the day, it's a big nothing burger. At the end of the day, it's something that it's like tradable FUD. These stories that come up that they're not going to affect the end of year price. They're not going to affect the end of month price. But when we're having a market like we do with crypto and especially Bitcoin, and leverage is a big part of the markets these days. And when you get people a little slightly too hot or over leveraged, when we're not in a clear trend, the smallest little news story can be the perfect opportunity for whales or big money players or people that can push the market around to see the small amount of fear and then make basically expand on it much further than it actually should be expanded on. So in that case, if something does drop right after you buy it, as long as it's not, one, you should have a stop loss in place, and two, I doubt very much that something like this is going to be something that's going to change the general outlook of the sentiment of the market and the market direction. It's just something. It's these last little flush outs that happen when we're in this sort of uneven water right now. But as we talked about this morning on the Crypto Jeb show, the Coffee and Crypto, one of the things that we're seeing with a lot of the on-chain metrics is that there's increased and ever increasing bullish pressure on-chain data. And there's a very large evaporation of sell pressure that's coming in. So one of the indications that you could have taken today with that small drop that we had would be if we got a long squeeze in that moment, which we did get a very small one, but if there was a lot of buy pressure and a lot of, if there was a lot of selling pressure and there really was a lot of fear and not much bullish support, that drop could have been something that dropped us back down into 41, 40, 39, and continuing with that trend. If there was a lot of negative sentiment and fear-based sentiment that was overweighing a lot of what's going on right now, especially with big money, we very well could be dropping down to 36. However, I I I I feel like I sound like a perma bull when we're talking about it on the YouTube channel as well as when we're talking about it here on Twitter Spaces. But when we're seeing this very choppy, what seems like somewhat undefined trend direction, at the end of the day, this is where it becomes so important not only to understand your technical analysis, but take some time to invest in whether it's just becoming familiar looking at or actually teaching yourself how to understand on-chain metrics, because they give you the foreshadowing understanding and the foreshadowing sentiment of what the majority of the market and especially big money is doing. And everything right now is pointing to we are setting up for whatever our final shakeouts that we're doing right now, but we're setting up for inevitable, very strong bullish price action. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with today's price action and with what's going on. And I'm curious, where are you feeling? What's your thoughts on today? Has it changed from yesterday, Crypto Vet? Are you still seeing targets?
No, nothing's really changed from yesterday. One of the biggest things I had yesterday was should I put in a long, and I said no because I mean I'm still not trading at this point. We're watching price action right now in the very very short term, and we're hoping that it does exactly what we think in the macro scale, right? Well, it could take weeks or months before we see any of that. So here on the short time, we could be breaking out. We could be confirming a back test of the little breakout from the initial drop, going back from January all the way to beginning of January to where we are now. So this is a super short time frame. We're talking not even 2 full weeks. So anything can happen. I am still bullish until certain price targets are met or the whole economy goes to complete shit. So there's a couple things I am for sure looking at that I haven't seen yet. And until that happens, the crypto markets are constantly getting more people. And I sound like a broken record with all the same things I keep saying over and over. So until then, we're just kind of waiting, and either we're gonna go all the way down to 10 and then come back up to where I said we were going to and be right 4 years from now, or I'll be right in a couple months. So that's kind of the game that I'm playing. I'm kind of interested to see what Jet has to say, or if anybody has any insights or questions on this exact topic. Yesterday we had Jesse on, Jesse Olsen, and I unfortunately misspelled his name in one of the videos, but I changed it all now. But he's more in the bearish tendencies as of right now. He's still a bull long term, but for the short term, he thinks that we are more likely going to see lower price action, potentially as low as 37, 38 down to the low 30s. So I don't think so, but this is why we have these spaces, so you can see all of the outcomes. And for anybody who does watch this later, if you just want to see my charts during the beginning, I kind of am showing off a couple different examples of bearish continuation patterns and where the targets would actually be. But Jet, what do you think? I know we haven't had you on in a couple of weeks, but if anybody's been here since the beginning may remember Jet. He's a good friend of mine. He's also the CEO of Pennyfly Entertainment. He is a music artist himself, already turned down several huge label offers so he could start his own company, and that's what he's been doing for the past 8 years at Pennyfly. It's an artist for artist platform, and Jet's just an overall badass, so I'll just let him take over.
Hey, thanks for the intro, my dude. To chime in on the market, sure, like anyone says, hey, anything's possible, but why we look at TA is to assess, what really is the most likely outcome, and based on probabilities of what we're seeing with that technical analysis. And I'm no TA expert. I have people like yourself and Kelly who are much wiser than I am at it, and ultimately, I defer to you guys. One thing I would say that I am maybe more in tune on than others, just because of my time in the space, a little over 5 years, and I've just been very, I've observed the market in some way every day. I've especially had like very specific curated lists on Twitter with certain people, influencers, both on the small side and the large side, that all have their own opinions, just like we do in this space. And just observing, over time, I'd say that really my strength is kind of just the sentiment analysis of it all. I'm typically able to kind of see, hey, when we're resting at a huge support level on the macro, bear trend or bull trend line, which was really just happening. It's interesting where you start to see, certain influencers really start to flip and second guess themselves, and you start to see a pattern where that's usually your buy signal. And it's very interesting. So we've seen it play out. I mean, there's some very smart people that I personally know that have called very accurate things on the market in the past, but they were fading the bottom there and thought that we were going to go down to like 32. And I was like, yeah, when I start seeing certain people say this, that's more often than not on the probability side of where we're kind of at a bottom. And we got some nice wickage there. So yeah, it's totally possible we could hit that 36, 37 area, but it just feels like it would have already happened a couple days ago. It would have just kind of cascaded down there, I think, if we were going to. But yeah, we just gotta wait and see as always. But me personally, I think we're gonna gradually start moving up from here. So yeah, exciting times, guys.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Much like what I was saying a bit ago, the market, especially the market makers in this immature market, they do an excellent job of really truly finding where the bottom is, and that is if they force a small short squeeze or a long, in this case a long squeeze, and the market starts falling. If how quick it gets bought up and how much liquidity is available with positive sentiment to buy up that dip gives the whole market a really good indication of how strong the market is at the current pace, and especially with the shakeout that we've been having over the last. I mean, in a weird way, we've been having a shakeout extremely violently, all the way up to 69, all the way down to 29, and going basically from 30 to 40, from 30 to 60, 40 to 60 for the whole year. And the market has been incredibly resilient on the low side of that. I mean, if you think about it, everybody's wondering how come Bitcoin's not moving? I mean, first step is we need to be a little more patient. At the end of the day, I think I mentioned this in yesterday's Twitter Spaces, but at the end of the day, we've gone from basically $0 up to nearly $70,000 in the matter of 13 years, in a massive market that's growing. I think we averaged early in 2021, we were averaging in the first quarter nearly 500,000 new addresses a day. We also added over a million new addresses in November and early December. The level of people coming into the market, even people buying super small amounts, is phenomenally impressive and incredible. And so when we're having these shakeouts right now, where we tested up to 70, which is nearly 2.5 times what our last all-time high was from the previous bull market. We did reset back down to the 29 area. Then we zipped back up to 60s, came back down where we're at now. We tested around wherever we tested, and now we're ranging right now in the basically 40 to 45 range, and 45 is going to be a huge step. It's actually a small step, but it's a huge step, and that's confirming that we're actually going to continue trend reversal back upwards. Because right now everybody's like, Bitcoin's rallying, Bitcoin's pumping. Well, not really. We're moving $2,000 or $3,000 on a multi tens of thousands of dollar coin. That's basically equivalent to back in the day it moving only a couple $100. So we need to get to the point where we have the sentiment and the buyers in the market, and not enough sellers to where we could push past that 45 level and then go back up and test the 47, 48 level, get past 52, and then onward and upward from there. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's happening right now is, as you see the market being pushed down, how quick the buyers are coming in. And the quicker they come in terms of the price not falling much further than it is, and then it goes up one step up, it gets pushed back down, and we're getting higher lows and higher highs. That's when we're starting to develop our trend, which I think we're currently in the midst of right now. Can we have another wick down? Absolutely. And I wouldn't bet against it, but I would say I do think that we have started the construction of this trend reversal, and now the market makers are just testing if the buyers are actually there or if it's just one-off buys as the price moves. But I do want to take this second. I don't know if he's going to speak yet, but I'm going to introduce him now, and whenever he's ready, he can introduce. He can come on and talk. We got another incredible technical analyst that's joining us today. He also has a YouTube channel, TomCrown, and he's graced us with his presence today. So I know he said he was doing some stuff. He might hop in now. He might hop in a bit to speak, but no, he's going to be sharing some of his magic juju with us. Some of the stuff he's seeing, and I know I just got off watching an interview that he did with Crypto Jeb, and they had some really great discussion about this looming, and I think it's funny to even call it this, but this looming death cross. And first thing we need to do is retitle what that technical term is, because death cross it's actually, I feel like, quite inaccurate because it plays out so infrequently. It's almost like an indication of some sort of end of a bear trap. But that's just my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on Mr. Vet? What are your thoughts on the impending death cross, and how do you see price action going following that?
No. I was just going to say thanks for Tom to have him here and let him give a chance to speak. I actually was starting to watch that episode before we had to do the Twitter space, so I haven't actually finished it yet. But I'm assuming you're talking about the MACD daily.
No, I'm talking about the death cross on the 50 moving average from the 200. It's just, and I'll let Tom.
I'll let Tom pick, and I'll pull it up on my chart.
Yeah, Tom, how you doing, brother? Thanks for joining.
Hey, good to be here. I just had some technical issues there in the chat with Jeb, but it really was a great episode, man. Jeb's an OG.
It's kind of funny.
Great analyst.
It's kind of funny. You went from one member, the main member of the Jeb crew, now to his secondary over here. So you go from one channel to the next. So it's glad to have you.
Yeah, no, I'm hopping around today. Yeah, we're talking about Death Cross. We were talking about Head and Shoulders, kind of just whatever has been kind of chattered about around, especially crypto Twitter and stuff. And I'd recommend take a look at that video on my YouTube. It's TomCrown. But yeah, the technical issues really got me through a loop. My share screen just was black apparently. I wasn't showing me that, but whatever. But Death Cross, yeah.
Your words were descriptive enough, though. We figured it out.
Thank you. The Death Cross is a classic technical analysis pattern or indication, whatever you want to call it. It's just the 50 daily moving average with the 200 crossing from the 50 above down below the 200, and that's what we're imminently seeing here on Bitcoin. It's probably going to happen tomorrow. We look back in the episode, and if you look at Bitcoin, and this may not apply to everything, I'm not going to claim stocks or other commodities act the same way, but historically in Bitcoin, the death cross, and I agree we should rename it. It's really an emotional term, death cross. It's almost meant to scare people.
It also gives us the golden cross, which is
which I think is equally an emotional term and probably should be changed as well. I kind of just like bullish and bearish cross, but we see that they don't.
I agree, but I also think this kind of speaks to, at some point we're going to need to start adjusting how we read some of these signals as compared to a traditional market versus crypto market. Because I'm sure in the traditional market, I actually haven't gone and back tested this, but the death cross probably plays out a bit differently because it's a slower moving market. And when you get a death cross, there's probably a lot more downside to play out versus in crypto, where it's already 20 or 30, maybe even more, 60% or more of the downside move is already done by the death cross happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is that it's not a great sell signal. I think that's if I had to put it in a few words, it's really seemingly an emotional thing, and I try to steer away from all kind of emotional factors in trading. They're never steering you in the right direction. They're almost always putting you on the wrong side of the trade when you're feeling euphoric or you're feeling scared. Price, you guys have experienced it, almost always goes the other direction in those cases. You look back and they really don't hit well. And we were also talking about the head and shoulders kind of pattern there that people are talking about. And I really am guessing that this is coming from...
You're talking about the more macro head and shoulders, right?
So, July's low being July to September being the left shoulder, and then the head probably being September to, you can call it January here, and we don't have a right shoulder yet. I've just heard people talk about it or say, there's a head and shoulders. And I think what's important there is, this has to be coming from, either an intentional source trying to spread this or newer investors, because last year from January really to July, you can identify the exact same pattern. We had a very valid head and shoulders setup, and you guys know what happened from July up until November. We just rallied back up to an all-time high. Jeb said it actually is, these patterns on bigger time frames don't tend to follow through, or they don't tend to really complete in the way that maybe smaller time frames do.
I like to call it the bullish head and shoulders pattern. Since we have two next to each other. If this one breaks up, I'm almost going to be pretty solid, and then it'll fuck me the next time, because I'll bet on it, and then it'll be like, now we're going down this time.
Like, people start identifying them, and we do the same but double top. It just seems to be kind of bait for new traders. They think that this is some kind of definite signal, and like I said, I can't speak for stocks and such because I haven't studied them in the same way. But Bitcoin has never ended any rally, any significant bull cycle with a double top or a head and shoulders. Really, it's blow off top. That's what I'm looking for here on zoomed out perspective. Is I'm looking for an unsustainable rally where people are extremely euphoric, and we haven't seen that. We saw a little bit of that in January of 2021, and that just got extinguished, in May. And since May, that euphoria or that hype really hasn't recovered. I mean, we're seeing NFT interest, kind of seeing these secondary or tertiary aspects that are growing in crypto gaining momentum. But the space itself just hasn't gone through the market life cycle that we've seen it do in the past.
No, absolutely. And, one of the things that kind of confuses me, maybe I'm looking at different metrics or a different chart than other people, or they're looking at it in a different way. But everybody talks about retail not coming in. Now, in some respects, I agree with that in the sense that we haven't gotten this massive onslaught of retail that just, helps explode the price, along with, because it's going to be this cycle more than any cycle in the past. And that has to do with the construct of the type of players that are involved this time. There's a lot more institutional money in play, but in order to get the blow off top with the size market that we're building, growing into now, it's going to take massive retail onboarding, as well as institutional people seeing the true, a very likely upside, so that they can also pour their money in along with retail. But despite us not having this huge onslaught of retail coming in, I'm looking at on-chain data every day. And one of the things that kind of blows me away, that makes me feel in the sideways market, or in these sort of delayed downturns that are just delaying the basically helping elongate the cycle, is that there is a consistent uptrend in 0.01 Bitcoin holders, continually. There's more and more new addresses, and there's more and more people, more and more wallets that are holding 0.1 Bitcoin. So that to me is showing that there is a growing adoption rate, given that it's obviously not going to sustain some massive uptrend. But just like everybody, I feel like everybody right now is waiting on pins and needles. Everybody's waiting for the other person to take the turn, to get that euphoric, whether it's a short squeeze that gets us that initial $4,000 or $5,000 pump, that then we get a little bit of retail sentiment that comes in that helps bolster it a bit more, and then we get some news about other corporate adopters coming in. I could see very well going into the end of quarter one, very high likelihood that we'll start seeing. When we start seeing the balance sheets from some of these major corporations that have been waiting on the sideline, I could definitely see, going into April, May, and June, we're getting those numbers from quarter one. That could be a huge driving factor in the price action going into the second quarter, into the second half of the year. But again, that's all speculation. I'm looking at all these metrics, and it's just like, I feel like the most patient person in the world, because I've never been in my life, but I see it happening.
Well, patience is the just the fundamental aspect in crypto. Time. Uh, I heard you say something. You're talking about retail coming in, and I think this is actually another one of those big misnomers. Is people are saying, "Well, where's the money come from? Where are the new people?" Blah blah blah. And I think that logically makes sense to everyone to ask that question, but reality just doesn't reflect that. Having watched this space for the better part of a decade, people don't retail doesn't enter in at good times. They don't enter when prices on discount. They enter at that blow off top.
After 70K, we'll start seeing them come in.
Honestly, I've been kind of like soothsayer predicting this, and I guess I gotta bite the bullet here. Is I was thinking this was happening last year, and it didn't play out. I still think this is going to happen. Is the real FOMO is going to be, in my opinion, really similar to 2017, and that's a really specific price point. That's when we went from 9,000 to 10,000. If you look back at the price, 10,000, 20,000 happened in like a week. When we move that decimal over, people really notice. And I think that we're going to see the same thing at 100K. I think however long that takes, I don't know. I was, like I said, expecting it last year. But that really catches people's eye. And that argument of kind of the market cap's bigger or we need new money, I've heard it over and over again, and it makes sense, but it doesn't. It just doesn't reflect history. New people do not enter, at the bottom of a bear market. I can't name really anyone that I've met in crypto that started in like Q1 of 2018 or something, down at 3K. It just doesn't happen. People are attracted. New people are attracted by the number going up, not by good deals or discounts. And so I think we're just going to see that happen in the future. We're just not there yet.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. That was really well said. There's quite a few people in my circle that are just totally, have come to the space as total newbies at different times. And of course, in our position with some more experience in the market, we always try to tell them, hey, now's a good time to get in. But they look at it and they're like, oh, this looks ugly, and it's very risky. And that's the whole point. But yeah, they don't get in at those times. I have several people in my circles that literally like every time, and it's almost on point. It just recently happened when we were resting on that major, bull trend line, but we're literally at support, at this like 3940 area, and everyone's freaking out. That's when they're just like, I always get the texts and they're like, oh man, I think this is it, I should sell. And I'm like, well, that's my cue to buy more. It is on point like every time, man. They just
Never fails.
It really doesn't. It really it's like people say when your taxi driver is telling you about Bitcoin, that's time to get out. And there's definitely like reality, truth to that. It'll happen before the top, and this is why timing the top is impossible. Is when is it completely saturated with euphoria? We can't tell. We're kind of viewing it through those same goggles, and it builds an exponential growth in general. I don't want to get political or anything, but we're seeing it with pandemics, with viruses. That's exponential growth, and it's really hard for humans to just imagine or even perceive exponential growth because it goes from what looks like isn't moving at all to all of a sudden just huge explosions, and it seems like this will never end. But mathematically, exponential growth can't be sustained. It has to collapse. If you don't have a collapse in exponential growth, you have very quickly take up all of the room in the universe. So just math itself doesn't agree with that.
So with that being said, let's see. We got Jet here, Crypto Vet, TomCrown. Anybody listening here? Thank you guys coming here to Crypto Answer. Definitely follow all these guys. You can click on their image at the top, and you can go to their Twitter, follow them. They're all great info. But let's go ahead. Let's dive in. Let's talk about some exponential growth, man. We're going into 2022. Let's start with you, TomCrown. What are three coins that you're seeing are probably that you're looking at like these three coins I feel like are great buys for this year for top growth?
Oh yeah, the year-long timeline is really a question that's difficult. But I can definitely give you three coins that I think right now are looking, kind of ahead of the pack chart-wise. I'm not going to comment on fundamentals or, that's not really my jam. Really just a chart guy. And those three coins right now, and they all have very similar structures, are Atom, Phantom, and Harmony One. Those three charts right now, I own a little bit of each of them. You know, I'm not shilling them. It wouldn't be worth it. I have less than like 1% of my portfolio. But if you look at their valuations against Bitcoin, they're pushing up to their all-time highs. Harmony One already broke it. I put a video out about that actually before it happened, and then broke, I think, a few days ago. Those coins are definitely looking for, I would say, a healthy Q1. How they'll perform into the end of the year, no idea, not a clue. But those would be the three kind of fun answers. I'm a Bitcoin, or I'll say proof of work maximalist. So they're not my favorite projects in the world, but like I said, I'm a chart guy, and those charts are definitely looking spicy.
Yeah, man. And Phantom, I remember reading an article about Phantom the other day. They've back in like it was a long time ago. Throughout 2021, they were among one of the highest in terms of the number of people they onboarded. From, I think they went from like 5,000 wallets to 1.5 million wallets in the course of the year, which is, talk about exponential growth. That's huge. But here's one of the factors everybody should make themselves aware of too. Charts are phenomenal and giving you an idea of what's going on and what's possible. But when looking at trying to pick out certain projects before the charting actually shows what's happening, is looking at these fundamentals, or looking at whether, if you can find on-chain metrics on an altcoin, or if you just look at the developer, the amount of development happening on a particular protocol, or looking at the number, look at the price action in correlation to the number of new wallets that are created, new users that are using that protocol. And if it's going up exponentially over the course of 6 months and the price is still moving at say 5, 10, 20% jumps, it's very similar to when you look at, like, if you're looking at charting and you look at bullish RSI divergence with price flat or price going down. That gives you a good indication on the chart that the price action is probably soon to move bullish because of the bullish RSI divergence. This is another, I call it, it's almost like fundamental bullish divergence, because you're seeing so much happening and money being spent, developments being done, and then the use case there where you see new addresses and new people adopting and implementing these protocols or using them just on their networks. That typically will lead to very bullish price action, because that also means you have a lot more people that are within the network, and whether they're buying, selling, or just using using the tokens within the system, that creates some form of illiquidity or supply shock, if you will, which will inevitably lead to bullish price action. But those are great projects. I couldn't agree more. And I'm so frustrated. I'm sure you felt this way before, Tom, where I've got a list right now of about 25 different coins that I can't wait to get in. But based on where the projects I'm holding currently, and those price points, and where these projects are, some of them I have moved into. But at the end of the day, I'm waiting for the end of this bull cycle, where I shuffle my stuff around, whether it be mostly into stable coins or what, and then at the bottom of the next bear cycle, reallocating into these projects that I kind of missed the boat on this bull cycle. And Phantom, Atom, Luna. I did buy into AVAX, but I definitely want more of that one. But there's a number of coins that I'm just chomping at the bit to get into. But it's going back to what you mentioned about emotional trading. I want to get into it for greed's sake, and also for the sake that I think they're highly promising projects. But that doesn't mean you just jump over and move your bets around and move your horses. That might not be the best case. So right now I'm looking at my longer time horizon into the next bear cycle, and how I can, I'll have an eye on those at that time, and see which ones I want to get into when the price is right then. And that's sort of my strategy with it. What sort of strategy do you have when you're moving into and out of projects?
You're talking to me. Right on. You see these projects going up, and confirmation bias is a killer here. You see price go up, and all of a sudden, everything you read about these projects, you're like, oh, that's why. This is the reason. This, I need to get in because this is like going to change the world, and maybe they will. I don't doubt that some of them will, but most of it is, we see the number go up, and then we want to jump in. We get emotional, and that is is rough, and everyone who starts crypto is going to be in that same spot, because typically they join either mid or towards the end of a bull run, and so they're buying into these projects that have already gained thousands of percents, and it puts them in a bad spot because they basically have to jump back out of them, or at least have a plan to jump back out of them, at least if our history repeats, because they're likely to lose a lot of their value at some point. And to get like a real portfolio in crypto, I think someone has to kind of be in the space for an entire cycle. You know, we have to see a bull cycle blow off top and a bear market blow off bottom. And you really find that the slower you move is the more successful strategy. And so for me, I'm very long term. I don't do kind of scalping trading or anything in any real capacity anymore. I certainly did at points. And for me, this is not really going to apply to everyone listening. I'm pretty much looking just to offload all of my alt positions slowly from now until whenever that top is. We can't know. So I'm not really looking for entries at this point. I did pick up some coins last year. Off the top of my head, I think like KSM, DOT, Uni. I can't remember all of them, but just small bags that I picked up at the beginning maybe of last year, and I'm looking to slowly take profit. I'll steal it from Wendy O, create moon bags. I'll sell portions of that position to cover my principal, and then I'm okay watching them fluctuate or go down whatever percent. But I'm very, very big picture, and so I'm not really looking to add anything at the moment. I'm really looking to wait out slowly.
Yeah, right on, man. That's a great strategy, and you're right. The faster I've moved, the faster I've lost money. So I've had some good wins when I've moved fast in the past, but I would say large in part if I really collated all the data, I would not be happy with the numbers in terms of when I was doing a bunch of swing trading and scalping, and then leverage trading. I mean, I had some legend for my portfolio size. I had some legendary wins, but I lost it almost as fast, if not more, than the wins I had. And the second I started slowing things down, making a lot more strategic buys, and if there's a big dip, having money on this, that's one of the things, and Jeb talks about this on the show a lot. One of the things people don't realize with their portfolio, it's not just about what you're holding. It's about what you're holding back from holding, in the sense of being patient to buy, but also having money on the side. So if there is a dip, you don't have to trade out of something to buy something. You have a little bit, if you're taking profits along the way on certain coins, if the market has a huge dip, you have cash you have fiat or stable coins sitting there that you can make the buys that you want to do without having to pour more money from your personal bank account, or at some point, as quickly as possible. If you're trading and you start taking profits along the way, you can aim really to have a self-sustaining crypto portfolio that you're not having to use new money to DCA in to buy these dips, because you're taking profits along the way that's providing you the capital to make future investments. And that's really been my goal in the last 3 years. I've been in this since 2016, and it took me about 2.5 years to realize that. And I've only seen upside. I've literally only seen upside since I've done that. And I want to step back in time and be upset with myself for not doing it earlier. But everybody has their own sort of learning curve, and that was mine. And mine cost me a bit of money, and I call it my crypto tuition. And everybody has to go through that in their own regard. Hopefully,
we all pay that.
Oh my God.
We all pay that. I want to give the floor to someone else for a little bit. I really wanted to comment on something you said. The having capital, so fiat or capital, is kind of part of the portfolio people don't talk about. I don't even really say it when I describe like my allocations, but I pretty much always have at least 10% of my total portfolio in just fiat, stable coins, whatever. And it's because of that thing you described, the kind of fast moving desire, the urgency to jump from one project to another. And that is absolutely one of the biggest sources of failure in this space. Is you're in a project, you love it, you believe in it, it hasn't done much in months, and you're thinking, oh crap, I messed up, this isn't going to work, and then you see something pump and you jump into it. That cycle is just such a huge source of failure, Because as soon as you do it, and I'm sure many people in here even have had this happen, whatever you just sold pumps. And then you jump back in for a loss, and you get caught up trying to kind of get back to where you were, and that is just a terrible. We all have done it. I've done it too, but it's brutal. You just aren't going to make it if that's the approach you have.
Yeah.
Someone else. I don't want to take up all of the talking.
Yeah, crypto.
Oh no, don't worry at all. Good insights. If I could say it better, I would have interrupted you.
It's all good
I'm
stuff.
not shy.
So, Vet, what are some of the projects you're looking at that are like some picks, or whether it's midterm thing or a yearly thing? What projects?
Yeah, no, it's funny because Tom actually mentioned two of the ones I was looking at. I've been looking at Phantom, and then I saw Harmy One this morning because I heard about it on, I think, BitBoy or some other show. Somebody mentioned it in the chat. So those are the two I'm looking at. I'll have to take a look at Atom because I believe I still have Atom from a year or two ago. Not much, $500 or $600 then, but I imagine it could be a lot more now. My overall picks is just still my same hodl bags. I'm actually in the same boat as Tom, and a lot of the guys who've been in the Discord and stuff know that I haven't really been buying much of anything unless it's been NFT or metaverse related, just because of the projects we're currently working on. That's where most of my capital is going. I do think Tom is 100% correct that you do need to try to allocate at least a little bit to just cash that you don't ever touch. It's very hard not to touch it because it's always going to be burning a hole in your pocket. But if you don't have that cash, the next time a project comes up, you'll sell at a loss, like you said, and then you'll buy in and then lose more. So right now, I will definitely be slowly getting out of positions, but of course, I still am going to be hopping in and out. I'm a day trader now. I'm no longer a veterinarian, so I still need to make money to pay the bills and everything. So of course, I still have a good bit of XRP that I'll just sit on probably till I'm 55 and have a gray beard. But until that point, I'll always have XRP to kind of be in my hodl bag. And of course, I'm looking at things like the big smart contract platforms, but these are things that could take years or never come to fruition at all, right? Cardano could potentially fail. Who knows at this point? So if you are an investor long term, anything you buy now, most of the time, if it's in the top 10 at this point, it'll probably be here in 4 years. May not be in the top 10, but it'll still be here, and you'll most likely be in profit compared to what you're doing today. So I think Tom said it on point. The only other projects, I don't even know what else I would say. There's so many new projects coming every day that are like ETH related or whatever that makes it so difficult to know what's a good project and what isn't.
No, right on. And I'm curious from both y'all's perspectives, because we both mentioned having a cash on the side to be basically able to allocate if there is a dip or this and that. But I'm curious, and in terms of my strategy with that is I've had to learn, because I am an emotional trader. And so I think that's something everybody needs to identify within themselves. You need to know what kind of trader you are, and then set up your strategies to basically put boundaries on yourself to where you stick with certain plans so you don't get into a mess. And so one of the things in terms of, like, even when I'm talking about buying dips, I've had to learn that I don't just have cash on the side and when a dip happens I buy. I have cash on the side that a lot of times is also pre-allocated to certain targets being hit, to where I can see, okay, if I want to get into Phantom, or if I want to get into DOT, for instance, and DOT right now is at 26-ish dollars, and I'm looking at a chart and I can see a Fibonacci retracement coming down to where a great target buy would be, and I'm saying this off the top of my head, I'm not looking at the chart. Let's say a great target buy would be somewhere in the $19 to $21 range. Then I would already have a portion of my capital set for a purchase order at that price, so I'm not aping into it. Because something drops, I'm not buying it just because it's in the middle of the dip and then it falls further. But with that being said, you have to be very aware of where your targets are set. So if the dynamic environment that the market is trading in, and the overall sentiment and all these different things, if they shift, it kind of doesn't matter if the price is going to get to your target, because if the environment shifts to such a way that it makes no sense to buy it at that level anymore, you have to be ready. You have to be aware of where your trades are, so you can either remove them or change them when you need to, so you don't end up buying to something that's catching a falling knife. But that's sort of my strategy with that. But Jet, do you have anything? I know you're a lot more in the NFT, metaverse, gaming sort of space, especially with y'all are developing such a kick-ass game, the Dash League play to earn game. But do you have any sort of projects that are on your mind for either short term or long term going into 2022?
Yeah, man. Actually, just last night, it was just kind of serendipitous. I was, just looking around Twitter as you do, and saw that multi-Grammy producer Pooh Bear was in a space, and he's not, normally super active on Twitter. Um, for those who don't know, Pooh Bear's like most known for a lot of Bieber's like biggest hits, and I mean, Justin takes him on tour with him to like write his next album, kind of thing. So he's very close with Justin and Rihanna and a couple other big artists. But anyways, I've worked closely in Pooh Bear's circles on one of his projects. So I know his personal manager and a couple people that he interacts with very closely. So I saw Pooh Bear on a space about launching an NFT series they're calling Ursa Major, and they have a couple big artists like Fat Joe, Timbaland in there. And so I joined the space and, got a chance to speak and just shoot the shit with him for a bit. So it was just a cool, small world, full circle kind of moment. But yeah, I thought it was really exciting to see, big players like that coming into the NFT space from the music side, because at the end of the day, I mean, if you have the Drakes and the Biebers of the world starting to, really show off NFT collections that they're behind, and putting out obviously their own NFT, like, membership kind of things like Snoop Dogg is doing. It really only, just starts an entire, domino effect of mass awareness, because, and that does all go to help independent artists. I mean, somebody was in the space, and we all appreciated their kind of devil's advocate questions. They were just kind of saying, hey, like Drake's got all this going on, like he doesn't really need a blockchain project. Maybe not, but him doing that does show so many more people how real this space is. And, at the end of the day, that's just kind of how industries move. You see the people at the top doing something, and then it's going to cause all the other artists that are independent, that are looking for new ways to make money and to monetize and to benefit from the NFT space. They're going to think twice about it, like, oh wow, all these big artists are really starting to get behind this. Maybe I should really actually pay attention and look at it. So it does kind of require that, on the adoption side, you got to see the larger players doing it. So that was an interesting space, and just cool to see that happening in the industry. But yeah, other than that, I'm always on the lookout for new interesting projects. We've been really, kind of had our heads down on a couple endeavors on our end with Dash League, and then we have a really big deal in the works here that is in the legal phase that I can't quite speak on yet, but it's really, really exciting for in terms of the NFT space. So maybe in the next week or two we'll have all that tied up, and then we can talk about that as well. But yeah, it's something with a lot of big influencer power behind it. So yeah, I mean, I just think 2022 is going to be the most exciting year yet for all of this, because kind of 2021 really introduced like, peak NFT awareness, hit the critical mass for the first time. And I think it's only going to get bigger this year, now that a lot of people have really started digging in with their different projects, and what they can contribute to the space, and people are really starting to see like, what works and what doesn't. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and the funny thing about NFTs, especially for people that, and I have to admit, I was absolutely on this sort of way of thinking for quite a while. But one of the sort of sleeper stealth functions of NFTs in the space, for anybody that's super crypto and resistant, or maybe just reluctant to dive in and understand it deeper, one of the stealth functions of it is that in order for people to get involved with NFTs, it is another on-roading mechanism to the crypto space. It's another means of learning experience for if somebody wants to go and buy a Bored Ape, or one of the Pluto Alliance things from the BitBoy show, or any NFT. It doesn't matter what it is. One of the Mojo heads. It doesn't matter. In order to do that, they have to participate in the functionality of not only gaining, acquiring whatever crypto project that NFT is launched on, but then go through the process of buying it, which integrates them in some capacity into the crypto space. So regardless of whether or not any individual person is for or against NFTs, I would challenge you to at least consider that it's another mechanism to get people involved in the crypto space. And, with the size of the market that we're all talking about this going, and the potentialities of where this can go, it takes every avenue that we can get, whether it's Justin Bieber and you think he's lame, whether it's it doesn't matter what it is. You think some of the NFTs are stupid. You can't believe why they're worth so much. All these things are gaining in massive amounts of publicity for the crypto space. It's getting a lot more people involved in different ways, and it allows people new avenues to become involved and integrated within the crypto space. And it's kind of like a drug. It's like some people buying Bitcoin was a gateway drug. Some people, it was buying Dogecoin. Some people, it was buying Shiba Inu. Some people, it was buying a bunch of NFTs. And to me, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because to each his own. We all have our own path. We all have our own journey. And it's just beautiful to see all these different use cases for not only smart contracts and crypto itself, but also, NFTs and the incredibly wide and still indeterminable amount of different use cases that can be applied to the utility that you can have involved with the NFTs. So, I mean, there's just so much going on there. I saw.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, I think, one thing that seems to be lost on the understanding of the NFT space from, the outside looking in is, some people will see just like, oh, all these artists or whatever entities, it really doesn't matter if it's music or whatever it is. Oh, they're just, putting things up here on the blockchain just as they see it as a cash grab. But really, why this space is working so powerfully is that, an artist putting out, like, even at the macro level, like if we say, you know like again, just use the example like Drake or Bieber or whoever puts out an NFT collection, generally the price is like pretty reasonable to start with. I think even like Weezer put some out for like $30 or something. So the thing is like, even though, yeah, sure, they're going to make some initial money off of the sales, what's really happening here is they're giving the artist or the entity selling the NFTs is giving their fans a chance to make money. Because if you get in and buy it at the beginning, there's a pretty good chance that a couple years from now, those original NFTs, as this space grows, like if you were one of the first to buy, Weezer's NFTs, or, Drake puts one out, or Bieber, or whoever, then, you're probably going to make money off of that. And so the artist is also giving you a chance to kind of invest in them in a way that really ultimately will probably benefit you more, because you buy the NFT, you give Eminem $100 for his NFT or whatever, but then a couple years later, you're able to flip that for a couple grand or potentially much, much more. And then it was actually you that won more than Eminem did. So it's really, kind of a symbiotic thing. And I think not a lot of people really make that connection.
No, absolutely. And I made the same argument to somebody the other day. They were talking about the lack of art, the skill of the art that's on a lot of the NFTs. And I said, well, at the end of the day, when you look back at like whether it's like the romance period, in the whatever 14, 15, 1600s, whenever that was, you have these different painters that come along, and there's something that they do slightly different with their styling and how they're painting, or the subject matter in which they're painting, that is an immediate shift in trend, and they're the trendsetters. So yeah, the art's good, but it's also carries so much value because it's a forward-thinking shift in trend and style. And so with NFTs, I would beg to argue that I don't think it's so much about whether or not it's the most incredible, badass, 3D rendering, most beautiful thing on the planet. Because at the end of the day, the art that's on top of the NFT is only the avatar for the underlying smart contract. There's one thing. And then the other thing is that the NFTs themselves, it's like you just said, the Bored Apes, the Crypto Cats, the Crypto Punks, all these things, they're going to hold a lot of value over time, because they were the first in changing the trend and marking a trend change from pre-crypto, pre-metaverse to the post world. It's never going to go back in terms of how integrated we're going to use these things. And again, I've talked about this in past Twitter spaces. NFTs aren't just going to be art. At some point, our medical records are going to be NFTs. Our driver's licenses are going to be NFTs. We're not going to need to, go sign a deed of a house at the city center. All that sort of. It's like you trade a car and you have the NFT for the car. That's your deed for the car. So there's so many use cases that are going to happen in those first NFTs that are worth millions of dollars. They're worth millions of dollars because they're proof of concept and they're a shift in trend and they're shift in the way we're looking at the world. That's why they hold value.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't have said it better.
Well, let's take this freestyle a bit.
Open the floor.
Yeah, open the floor. If any of you, Jet, Crypto Vet, or Tom, have anything that you want to talk about in specific, otherwise we're going to open the floor. If anybody wants to speak or has a question or comment, go ahead and press on the bottom left. You can press request to speak, and we're happy to bring you up and let you speak. And until we have a person or two hop on, we got Deezy in the house.
Hey, let's get old Deezy. I see he saw my
Let's
tweet.
go.
What's up, Deez?
What's up, Deezy?
We got from the Crypto Jeb background guy to the BitBoy background guy. You and me are running stuff. Then we got TomCrown in here too.
TomCrown, the man with the shades and the TA. Can't miss him.
That's right. We're building up a posse, man. What's going on, Deezy?
And
Tell us about your world.
What are you seeing on the charts? What are you seeing with the NFT world?
I'll tell you just real quick on the NFT world, just the broad strokes, man. I really think the Cardano NFT world is really starting to pop. I think it's sucking in a lot of the fresh capital. I think it's starting to onboard a lot of the Ethereum people and Solana people, because now that there's actually decent Web3 websites. Before, that they didn't really exist. I remember I went to these websites about 6 months ago. They kind of sucked back then. But, now jpeg.store, cnft.tools, OpenSea, the Nami wallet, like everything is really stepping up. So I think the Cardano NFT world is going to have a nice month or two. Heck, maybe a week or two. I don't know. This is NFTs, but I see a short-term price appreciation for Cardano NFTs.
Oh, right on, man. Yeah, I've been seeing some things pop off with that as well. I was surprised when I first started diving into NFTs. My buddy Rick, he's launched a massive NFT project. He's like, dude, if you have any questions about NFTs and you really think there's no art involved, go and check out foundation.io. I went and looked at that for like 20 seconds. I was like, holy moly, there's so much out there that I was so unaware of.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, man. It's exciting to see, we're finally branching out, getting away from, these other chains, creating some competition. OpenSea doesn't really have much competition on the Ethereum side, but, if we see other chains have real good competition, it can kind of act in the same manner in which, competition's good. It's good for the market. So that's what I like seeing.
So what
100%.
do you have any sort of update? I remember seeing a bunch of media about it about 3 months, maybe longer, 4 or 5 months ago, about the Coinbase NFT platform. Are they still moving forward with that, or is that?
I believe it's February.
Yeah,
because we're actually working on the development side with that. So I know our lead developer he got a kit just recently. So I believe it's still set for February, but we could always double check with him. Jet, maybe or Deezy.
No, it's just like everything, they'll say, Q4, then it's January, then it's Q1, then it's spring. This is crypto, everyone kind of over promises, and even a Coinbase, they're a Fortune 500 company, they understand the risk involved, not delivering on time. And still, man, it's just devs, man. It's a dev market right now. It's hard to get devs, and, it's just hard to get things done quickly.
Yeah, on that note, feel free to go ahead and plug Pluto Alliance and the projects you're working on, because, right now it's kind of hard to find any project where you can find a face behind the people who are doing it, So, Pluto Alliance, same with ours, Dash League, and other projects where, influencers have been around for years, the chance of a rug pull is not going to happen. So, feel free to plug away, Deezy.
Yeah, man, I want to spend too much time talking about it, but yeah, I'm always down to push the little Pluto Alliance. We just got the devs off vacation. We have the V1 Pluto Alliance, did real well, sold out in 2-3 hours. We got the V2 Pluto Alliance, has different utility. The utility that you unlock with V2 is mostly going to be forging 3 matching backgrounds on your V2 Pluto Alliance, and then it'll unlock something special. On the not rare ones, it'll be something like merch. The rarest will be like a Super Bowl package or a cruise package where you can jump on a cruise with me. We're still looking, I'll go ahead and say it, with the pandemic and everything, it's, we're trying to be like, we don't know if the All-Star game is going to have, is it going to be canceled and stuff like that. So we have some of the event stuff on the back burner, but the dev team's hard at work. We should have the forging website online within about a month, and then you'll be able to forge these NFTs, and then you'll unlock, you'll get 2 super NFTs, and that's what you'll use to claim whether it's a hoodie or cruise tickets or whatever. So yeah, we're working on all that, man. I'm really excited. So just the way I treat this NFT project, man, Pluto Alliance, the crypto space, it can get a little toxic, discords, people might get a little impatient here and there. I understand that. This is crypto. It's bred impatience in all of us, and that's fine, but we just have to accept that. And so because of that, we just keep our head down and just keep working, man, and keep delivering.
Yeah, no, completely understand. We're also on the development side, and the game was definitely one hell of an undertaking, and I'm not even a lead coder or in that sense, so I completely understand the setbacks, but there are a select crowd of people who can do this, Solidity back-end development, and then you have to be able to trust that the people writing this code aren't going to completely fuck you in the whole project. So no, Deezy, don't stress on that end. Yeah, the people will be toxic. Just let that shit roll off. It's going to happen the rest of our lives. So you just keep on going.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't live or die off, if is everyone in the Discord happy? You'll literally never be happy. You can be bored apes, everyone's rich out of their mind, and then still there's going to be those unhappy people that just want to spread FUD.
Oh, and they forget you also have 50,000 other projects going on, and you're taking care of a show, and all the other people have their own jobs. So everybody will get over it, and the projects will happen when they happen. In the end, it's still, we're all educating each other, trying to figure out what's the best projects, best crypto overall, and then crypto adoption as a whole. I mean, I know me personally, I try to start here at the local level, so I've already had several talks on the local level with treasurers here to potentially adopt Bitcoin in Arlington. This whole adoption is going to take a while, so I think everyone's doing a solid part. And shit, Deezy, keep it up, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. And I'm looking in the who's listening right now. I'm seeing a lot of Cardano NFTs. See a little Pluto Alliance, but yeah, Cardano NFT people showing up in a big way here. Let me get it like a 100 or a check mark or something if you're listening. You like your Cardano NFTs.
Oh yeah, that's it. So drop that 100 if you're in the Cardano NFTs. So we need to have you back on another time, DZ, so that way we can, whenever you're free, just discuss whatever you and Justin are feeling.
Yeah, man, definitely. Yeah, I saw it was on. I've been listening in, jumping in and out. I'm, about to prepare a few things here. We got some videos to shoot, but yeah, man, glad to for the chance to jump on stage real quick and talk real quick, and I'll keep an eye out, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'll make sure I follow you, Kelly, and I think of course I follow you, Vet, TomCrown, and Jet. I'll follow you as well. Appreciate it again.
Yeah, man.
Likewise, man.
You're doing a great job over there with the BitBoy Show and all your hosting on Around the Blockchain and the NFT stuff you do. You're doing a great job, brother. It's good to see other kind-hearted, integral people in the space that got some personality, man. Rock
Hey,
it.
appreciate it, man.
100%. If you haven't followed Deezy, he's part of the BitBoy squad. Awesome guy. Met him several times, Vegas, everywhere. So be sure to follow him. He's up to date, way more up to date on all the NFT stuff than I am. So if you're following me for NFT stuff, he's probably a better source. Yeah.
No, that you're the man. You trust. Hey, not many people trade better than you. TomCrown might be up there, but hey, y'all take it easy. Appreciate it. Pluto is a planet.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. Thank you so much, man. Well, let's keep it rolling. We got a couple requested in
someone
here.
else.
Let's see. We got. I think Kevin S was the first one to request, so we'll bring Kevin S up. How you doing, Kevin S? Doing good, man. What you seeing? What you thinking? What you feeling?
Try to catch Deezy before he headed out. Well, maybe you guys too. If you guys have, I was looking into the Cardano NFTs, and I believe it's something that is definitely going to grow. I believe it's something that we can, get in early on. But I don't even know where to buy a Cardano NFT. And two, what projects do you guys see out there that you recommend?
I'll answer that real quick. JPEG.store, JPG.store is the best. It is the closest to OpenSea. There's also Rarity Tools. There's I want to say it's CNFT.tools, and there's OpenSea, the letter C, OpenSeaNFT.io. You can get good metrics, but JPEG.store, JPG.store. And it's almost as good as OpenSea. And then use the NAMI wallet, NAMI. So that'll get you started.
Got it. So NAMI wallet for sure. You said JPG.store. That's probably the best one.
Yep. That one's instant. There's other, Cardano, they're still, working on some issues. There's still like trust-based swaps where it's like, hey, will you accept my offer? The guy has 24 hours to blah, blah, blah. This is crypto. We want to buy that NFT immediately. So use JPEG.store and the NAMI wallet. I'll get you there.
Absolutely. What projects? I don't know if you guys are into the Cardano NFTs like Deezy and some of these other guys, but have you guys been looking into the projects? Anyone that you have been keeping an eye on?
I can give you all a little alpha right now. The Mutants is I'm trying to think. Mutant Toad and Mutant Crocs. They're actually making a CNFT marketplace, and they're pretty close. And there's some things I can't really say.
It's the only one I've heard of that was pretty poppin', that I was doing research on.
The Boss Cats are super popular right now. There's definitely. I would say go check the metrics. Go to the OpenSeaNFT.io and just check the volume of like the last 24 hours, last 7 days, and just do your own research. Check out their Twitters and stuff. If you got time, jump in the Discord, see what it's like, and that'll get you there.
Gotcha. Definitely do that. I think Cardano's NFTs are going to be something that do pretty well in the future. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, thanks for the heads up.
No problem.
Oh, anytime. Thanks for coming up, Kevin. Kelly, you want to go ahead and we'll see if we got another person. I see Mellowbee is in the chat. She is a phenomenal music artist. How are you, Miss Mellowbee?
Let's see. We got first. I just accepted. Was it Crypto Corey?
Great.
And then
what's your question, Crypto Corey?
You gotta hit that mute
Hey,
button.
sorry, man. I'm just here with my daughter, just born, right? But man, I just want to give a shout out to all you guys. I'm just in every space I could possibly get in and learn. I'm new to NFTs. I've been around like the crypto world since the big pushes 2017. And Deezy, I'd be checking the BitBoy Squad, all you guys out all the time. And I'm just here to soak up knowledge and really. Where do you guys see? I have one question. Where do you guys see like Cardano NFTs headed towards by the end of this year? You think this is just like a 2-3 week, maybe 2-month bubble, or what?
I think me and Deezy are actually going to probably have different answers on this. Me, from just more of an outside perspective on Cardano in a whole, until Cardano fixes a lot of problems that they've kind of had with the release of their smart contract network and everything along that point, I think that could be what sets back Cardano NFTs more than the Cardano NFTs. It's just, like Deezy was saying, it has to be easy. You got to do stuff now. So it more comes to ease of use. And right now, Cardano doesn't quite offer that as well as it used to promise it. So I think here in the future that could change very quick. Charles Hodgkinson's awesome at what he does. I love Cardano. I have Cardano. I just think right now, as far as the NFT platform, it looks like it could be lagging behind others, Solana, AVAX, BSC, all these other smart chains, just because of the high throughput that's cheap and everything that you can do. And then on Cardano, if it's not that easy, that's the part where I would set it back. Just my thoughts.
Well, I do think though that Cardano has one thing going for it over like the AVAXs and Solanas, in that Cardano has one of the most, like, it's hard to believe how strong and patient and driven the Cardano community is. So I think that's going to be a huge underpinning of success as it goes into this next year. But I also think it's going to have some direct effect on the NFT market based on what actually gets rolled out in the next 3 or 4 months. First 1 or 2 quarters after the Plutus application back end gets fully integrated and launched for all the dApps and stuff to roll out. And if there's no hiccups with that, I could see this blowing
No
up.
hiccups, wonderful. It's just I just worry, you know. I'm on the negative side here because this
Oh,
is
of course.
muddy and everybody's on the like when Lambo. Like I'm still not driving a Lambo. Like well shit, neither am I. Those things are fucking expensive, right? Like this is just like we got to know when it's actually gonna happen. And I'm getting these Ethereum vibes from Cardano right now. Like we're gonna be waiting on this smart contract thing, like we're waiting on ETH 2.0. And then if Richard Hart actually comes through and wins this, I'm gonna be very disappointed in myself.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm just saying, okay? Like I'm a realist here. I'm watching everything. Like I love XRP. I still get shit on that for that every day, right? So it's just this is the crypto markets. We got to protect ourselves, and I want to give everybody an honest opinion, and that includes the good and the bad I see. So like Cardano, I love it, but they got to fix a couple things before it's ever gonna take off. Otherwise, it's gonna be like EOS. Y'all ever heard anything about EOS? Is that still alive?
Not in the last 3
Right?
years. But
Exactly my point, but it's actually a lot faster and better than 95% of the blockchains that are out there. Now, wrap that around your head, right? That's the part that blows people. I mean, it does more than fucking Dogecoin.
yeah, what are your thoughts on the Cardano ecosystem, DZ, with the NFTs?
I mean, as far as like going to the end of the year, I mean, this is crypto. There's no real way to determine that. I do think, there will be a couple blue chip type NFT projects. I do think, someone kind of said it earlier, the Cardano community is very, very strong when it comes to loyalty, whether it's, their fanatic devotion to Charles or the coin itself, So, I mean, we've seen it, it's kind of a meme, like, you'll have the buddy who's just hasn't shut up about Cardano for the past year. Once these people start onboarding onto the NFTs, it's going to give them a whole new, like, I don't want to say a second wind. They're going to have a second wind. Like, all right, well, Charles Hoskinson said, all this stuff was going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. They're starting to run out of steam. And then, they check out a JPEG.store. They check out a CNFT.tools. They check out the Nami wallet. Then they're all of a sudden, they're feeling bullish again. So I do think we'll see that second wave coming. I don't know I don't know how many Cardano fans are there that are lurking that even know about this. I think, once the word starts spreading that, hey, there's real gains with these NFTs, I think they'll get real big. But, I mean, we'll see, as far as last prediction on the end of the year, if I really, really had to say, I mean, I think it's the same as most NFT stuff. 90 some odd % will go down, and the other % will if you diversify, will more than make up the gains or the losses. I mean, with the gains.
Gotta hope you find that next Bored Ape or that next CryptoPunk on Cardano, which there will be, hands down. So, it's kind of the gamble. That 0.1 Solana or that 0.1 Cardano you use to mint. Well, I guess it's on Cardano. It's a lot more. The 100 Cardano you use to mint, it could be a huge payback.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what you got? We're gonna do two more requested speakers here, and then we'll be wrapping this up probably in about 15 minutes or less. But everybody, thank you again, everybody, for joining here on Crypto Answered. Deezy, TomCrown, Jet, definitely follow all these guys. Everybody's got their own special little niche and their own outlooks on everything going on in the crypto market. They got a lot of great content on their Twitter.
It looks like we got Jchains up in here.
Jchains, where's Jchains at? I'll bring up Crypto Alchemist, and I'll add Jchains if he wants to speak as well. So Crypto Alchemist, you're I know I see you all the time on the Crypto Jeb show as well. I know you're a loyal Jedi Knight. What you got on your mind, brother?
What's going on, guys? I was just curious about what you guys thought about what's going on with like these social tokens in the next year or so, because I know Raul Powell was talking about like how stuff like Rally and Chili's are going to be big for like these, music artists and different artists across the space. And, I wasn't sure what your view on when it comes to like what you guys were talking about earlier with NFTs, like how is that going to are they going to be able to coexist, like NFTs versus like these native tokens or whatever people are using stuff like Rally for to, get benefits for their fans or whatever. So do you think that like stuff like these with these social tokens like Rally and Chili's are going to be able to, have their time in the sun, over the next year, or is that something that could potentially take, somewhere between 2 and 5 years to really take off?
Well, I personally think that I think they have slightly different use cases, and I think they're going to be one marketed separately I do think the NFT marketplace might infringe or on that sort of space itself. But I honestly think that, like, for instance, Rally and Chili's, I do think that they'll still have a huge amount of growth that they'll be able to experience and sustain it for the long term. But when you're getting into NFT plays, I think it's going to be more of like a marriage between a social token, but then also having some sort of NFT, unique NFT for whatever utilities you're trying to add for whatever your community is, whether you're a basketball team, and they have the top shots, but then they also want a social community token. So I think there's a slightly different use cases there. And I think there's plenty this is kind of like the same argument is what's going to be the ETH killer. At the end of the day, none of them are going to be, no layer one's going to be an ETH killer. They're all going to be slightly applied differently and used differently by different institutions, much like we have Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex. There's been plenty of space for all those different companies, there's credit companies in the last 50 years. And I think it's going to be the same thing with the layer one solutions. And also when you come up to community tokens and NFTs, at the end of the day, there's slightly different use cases and needs each organization or institution or community will need. And they will, each one of these different projects, it's actually great to have so many because it's driving an incredible fast amount of technological development because they're competing with each other and they're seeing these new developments on one team and they figure out a way to top them on this other project and figure out how you can integrate but also isolate and concentrate. But I think there's a lot of space there. And if we got Jchains in the house too, he's also one of the compadres over at the BitBoy channel, Hit Network. He's incredibly knowledgeable guy. Welcome to have you in here, brother.
How about
Thanks,
this,
man.
Jchains?
What up? What up? How's everybody doing today?
Dude, we're
Well,
doing.
man.
Nice. Sorry, I was a little late.
Oh
Had
man,
kind of a hectic day over here, but
share your
hey,
thoughts, man.
better late than never.
Hey, dude, it's better. Yeah, better here than not there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you guys talking about?
We're talking about long time ago, my mother. Like, I'm still resolving some issues with my mother, and we're just working through it together as a group. No, we're just talking about crypto, and we got on the NFT topic, and the last question was, we look at community tokens like Chili's and Rally, and then we also have like the advent of the NFT space. How you see all this playing out? If people are going to navigate more towards one versus the other, or if they're going to be intermingled, or what's your thoughts between all these projects and how they're going to work together?
That's a great question. With as far as like community tokens go, I mean, we're seeing those on the rise, right? Like the Bored Apes, like they added their community token, and we're seeing a lot more community tokens added in. And I love the utility of it only because like it does more than just provide like an NFT for someone, right? Like it whether you turn it into a DAO and then now you've got governance, you've got people being able to make decisions, on behalf of a decentralized group. I love that. I love the community tokens, but as far as like what I think is going to be more popular, obviously, once the NFT space matures a little bit more, and we're seeing it, right? We're starting to see it now, where it's not just art. It's not just hey, I could just right click that JPEG and move on. Once we're seeing some more utility, like in the music industry, the movie industry, all sorts of these industries, like once they integrate into the space and it becomes more than just art, like I was saying a second ago, just more utility. That's when I think that industry, that ecosystem, is going to really explode, especially. And now I think is a lot of my focus with what I do is right now play to earn, metaverse, all that stuff. And you're seeing, like the integration with the NFT ecosystems into a lot of these play to earn and metaverse spaces. That's where it's going. That's where I see a ton of utility, a ton of use case, mass adoption. Gaming is going to bring upon mass adoption in a whole new level, something that we've never seen before. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
100%. The gaming industry is so much larger than just cinema and everything else in the entertainment industry. I mean, I think it's gaming and porn that make up the most. And you know me, I'm a huge gaming guy. I don't know if you guys are doing Dash League, the games that we're doing. There's just, I agree, the utility is where it comes down to. As far as the social tokens, I saw Melody was real 100 about that earlier, and I think she could be a great person we should bring up maybe next time to speak about this. But the social aspect in the community, like whether it's for Cardano or an NFT project, if you are gung-ho and the Bored Apes are like the new Rolex, you want to be a part of that group, what if you could also make money being a part of that group? So these social tokens are tokens that are backing an NFT project, offering utility, backing a game, anything like that. They are about to have their heyday. The problem is what will regulation do to them? And that's been a constant battle that we've been facing with Dash League. But of course, we've found ways to be legally okay, and doing all of these things. So other projects will have to go through that same avenue. But I think Jchains said it best. It's going to take over.
Man, I sat in a Twitter Spaces yesterday, and it was like one of those aha moments that like is so obvious that it was like, of course this is going to be done, and it made so much sense. But it was it was a group of filmmakers talking about NFTs and crowdfunding their media projects versus like with music, we think so much more often about music and artists and how artists. It's known that if you sign a record deal with a major corporation, or a major record label, you might get a lot of exposure initially, but you're essentially signing a deal that puts you in debt with the record label.
With the devil.
Yeah, and they're making all the money on the record sales, and you can make hopefully the majority of your concert sales and stuff, but you have to pay back that advance that you get, and they have all this basically. They're basically this devil on your shoulder telling you what you can and can't do. But in terms of the movie industry, it was such an incredible plan that they have. But they're basically crowdfunding movies now, and you can buy basically a certain length and seconds of the actual movie that's being created, and based on which NFT of that segment of the movie that you buy, and they'll be based on what's going on in the movie, whether it's incredible moment in the movie or if it's just something that's a little more non-dynamic. The cost of that NFT will be different, but you're basically crowdfunding, raising the money for your film or media endeavor, and then you're selling the ownership of the whatever seconds of the NFT that you got of that movie, and within that, then you also get utility based on different money that's being produced by that movie, whether it's product placement or this or that. So you actually, it's incredible. So you can actually have your community be a part of funding the movie that's happening, but then they also have a cut share of the profits that are made based on what part of the movie it's really, really interesting. It just outlines again the number of ways that we haven't even thought of that all this stuff is going to be utilized.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I mean, Jet honestly is the best person to speak to when it comes to record labels and deals, since he himself has turned down a couple, and now with Pennyfly, he helps create artist for artist deals. That way, you can have access to the top tier stuff and not have to sign over your life. So. I don't know if Jet's here. He could get that because we're getting to roll up here in the last couple minutes here. Thanks again to everybody for coming out, man. I think we had almost 100 people in here. Absolutely awesome. If you guys like these, like me and Kelly to do an extra one, you'll have to convince Kelly because I had to pretty much twist his arm to do this today. He did not want to talk to you guys.
So much twisting.
And then had to beg Jchains and Deezy. But Deezy, thank you so much for coming out. We had TomCrown Crypto. It was so many good guests. I'll let you just send us off, Kelly.
We'll wrap it up. We got one more requested. It's Brian. And I think I just feel it. Brian here is going to have the most ultimate, amazing question to wrap us up here. So no pressure, brother. But I'm going to go ahead and bring you up, and you can get the last comment or question, and then we'll wrap it out from there.
Hey, this is Mike.
There you go. I think you're on. You're kind of cutting in and out, though.
Sorry about that, guys. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
All right, good.
Very good.
It's magical. You put the microphone to your mouth and it works. All right. Hey, great space, man. I know you guys are about to go to the middle of the hour, and I appreciate the time you're giving me. So, hey, since we're on the NFT topic, maybe you guys could point this out. I don't know if people have the same question as I do, or maybe I'm just too old. So I'm 40 years old, right? I'm in crypto. Bitcoin, all the altcoins, I consume it. Kelly, I follow you. I follow Crypto Vet, everybody here. But the NFTs, man, I feel like I'm a novice. I feel like I'm a kid and don't even understand it. I don't understand the value proposition and how you're going to make money flipping NFTs today. I understand how we flip crypto, but what's a good resource you guys recommend besides YouTube, or maybe it is YouTube, a good YouTuber that could explain that to somebody like me?
Man, if the Jchains was here or Deezy, those guys, like, their specialty.
I'm here. I don't know if Deezy's still in here, but yeah, man, I would check out what. So we're all part of the BitBoy Crypto family here at Hit Network. Deezy and Justin, they run a show called NFT Update, and those guys are digging in deep, trying to find you guys the best NFT projects week after week. I mean, hey, Deezy, you guys do a show on Sunday for NFT Update on the BitBoy channel, but then your show on NFT Update is what? When do you put it out? Wednesdays?
We don't have a set date. We just put out content all the time.
Okay. So they're always just putting out content based on, they're talking with projects, talking with communities, trying to find the best places for you guys to look for NFTs. I think like right now, like the Cardano stuff it's hot, it's blowing up, it's new, it's cheap. I think that's one of the most important things.
Right.
It's for the average Joe, Deezy said. So I would check out anything that those guys are putting out, because that is the NFT stuff that's their realm, man. They are in it, and they are in it to win it every single day.
And I would add to that, one of the things you want to do if you're new to this is, I mean, just like a crypto coin, you got to do a little bit of diligence, especially if it's a project you haven't heard of. Go and follow them. Go join their Discord. See what sort of interaction the actual community behind the project in terms of like the devs and the staff and all the people involved. See how interactive and engaged they are with the community, and then see if it's the most incredible artwork you've ever seen in your life. Then maybe don't check in on what the utility is, because maybe at that point you're just buying it because it's really kick-ass art. If it's not, if there's something beyond that, I mean, always check in. Try to figure out what the different levels of rarity or unique qualities they have, because all NFTs, they give you some sort of gauge on, because there'll be different qualities in terms of the framing of it, the background color, what utilities are involved, and all these things kind of give it a composite score, an index score, in terms of how it relates or compares to all the other NFTs that are within that package or that release. And so you can get a good idea of how that one stands against all the other NFTs that are even within its own package. And then look at the utility, because sometimes, I mean, I'm involved. I'm not involved in terms I'm a part of it, but I'm involved in terms of I bought a few NFTs from an NFT project called Mojo Heads. And while the art, it's not like some art I would ever hang on my wall. It's essentially NFTs it's kind of like trading cards for artists. So what they're doing is they're creating NFTs of artists that create NFTs, much like you'd have trading cards for like a baseball player, or a rookie card for a basketball player and stuff like that. And with that, what they do is they have emoji sort of heads that look just like this person, and they have all these different traits, and they have some super rare traits and some not rare traits, and they all have different levels of utility. They give you access to different NFTs that artists put out. It also gives you access to different projects that they have going on with their ecosystem, where you get first rights to certain things, or early access to other various things within their ecosystem. So one of the things you really want to look for is what's the utility that's attached to the NFTs you get. And a lot of times, much like anything in the world, the stuff with the if you're buying it secondhand, not at mint, meaning like if you're buying an NFT from somebody as an individual NFT through OpenSea or through whatever NFT exchange you're using, then you're going to have a set price and you're going to know what you're buying. But there's also opportunities where you can participate in mints. And what mints are is when these various, like for instance, Pluto Alliance, they'll be doing a mint soon. The Mojo Heads thing I was just telling you about, they'll be doing a mint soon. And what that is, you buy in, and it's actually super fucking exciting, because you're going in and you're paying almost like a base level floor price, because you're buying in before this project has had exposure to have prices shoot up. So you're buying in early, and it tends to be very random. When you're buying a mint, everybody's paying the same amount, whether it be 0.05 ETH or whatever it is for that project. And then every single person that gets their mint, you don't know what you get until you pay for the mint, and then it's minted. So you might get something super rare. You might get something that's a little more common. But it's super exciting. I've already had to curtail myself being a part of mints, because I'll buy one and I'm like, oh, I do 2 or 3 more. But it's super exciting. That's kind of how you can kind of get in on the ground floor of projects before they really shoot up. If you want to go speculate and trade on stuff that you think is going to go up even further, you can do that. But I would advise, if you're just getting in, try and go and participate in some low-cost mints first so you can kind of get used to working with MetaMask and going through the minting process and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just dive into stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff. And just know at the end of the day that the cost of these NFTs is not because we're valuing this NFT artwork at this price. The value is community driven based on the utility access that you get from having that NFT, and also because it's a it's a massive change in trend in utility and access and functionality across Web3. So that's really where a lot of the value comes with all these NFTs. But
I appreciate that.
Of course, and we'll be doing. We tend to do at least once a week here on Crypto Answered. We have been doing Thursdays at 8 p.m. But if yesterday and today is any indication, where that might be changing, more fluid, because we did do one just kind of spur of the moment yesterday, and we did today's midday rather than 8 p.m. So we'll be back here pretty regularly. Stay tuned on my Twitter. Definitely go and follow me at Kelly Kellam. That's Kelly Kellam. Follow Jet here. Follow Crypto Vet. Follow Jchains. Follow Deezy. And TomCrown, of course. Thank you for him. I know he's jumped off, but thanks to him for joining in our spaces. We'll be back here regularly. We really appreciate all you. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And stay tuned on these charts because I'm seeing a big uptick coming here in the next coming weeks. So stay bullish. Stay positive. Keep your stop losses in order. And we'll be seeing you on the other side of 1 million. Big love to all you guys. And thank you so much for joining.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. See you guys.